Okay, George Wythe House, American Battlefield Trust, Jack Moriarty, American Battlefield Trust. This is an original structure. This is the home of George Wythe, a super rich dude who was pretty much William and Mary Law School by himself. And he taught it up in that window up on the right. That's where Thomas Jefferson learned the law, and that's where James Madison learned a lot of stuff too. And he taught a lot of important stuff, and the people who he taught ended up creating America with the stuff that he taught them. So George Wythe House, important dude, you know, cool dude, cool stuff. Okay, so this is the Governor's Palace in Colonial Williamsburg. It's a pretty beautiful view. This was the home to the colonial governor of Virginia, the British one. And it was also home to Thomas Jefferson when he was governor of Virginia, immediately after the Revolutionary War. But this is not the original building. This was built in the 1930s by John D. Rockefeller. And it's because the original one burned down. But the only reason they were able to reconstruct it is because of a drawing that Thomas Jefferson actually did while he was living here. And he had the exact dimensions down. So that's pretty cool. It's a pretty amazing structure. So I'm at probably my favorite place in Colonial Williamsburg right now. This is the Peyton Randolph House. This is pretty much the only building in Williamsburg that's completely original to the 18th century. And what you're looking at is actually pretty much the facet of wealth in America. Peyton Randolph was the wealthiest guy in America, and he was also Thomas Jefferson's pretty much uncle. And he was the president of the First Continental Congress before he had a heart attack before the second one. And he would probably have been our first president if he hadn't have died. This was his house. He was also probably the biggest slave owner in Virginia too, and he would hold slave auctions in the back. So yeah, it's a pretty cool place, and it's like 80% original. Okay, this is the courthouse in Colonial Williamsburg. We're the only people here right now on New Year's Eve. It's super spooky. So right here you can see the front of the courthouse. This is a 1930 Rockefeller reconstruction. Right here you can see the front. This door is perfectly centered. And on the original courthouse and the plans that were discovered from Thomas Jefferson, the door was actually a few feet off center. So when this was being reconstructed in 1930, there was a debate over if they should center the door or not in the reconstruction. They decided to center it. And I believe that's called erasing history. I don't agree with that decision, yeah. We are officially the only people in Colonial Williamsburg. Nobody's here except for us. So, here's the deal. This is the capital of Williamsburg. Another 1930 reconstruction. This is where the House of Burgesses sat after the capital got moved to Jamestown, okay? That was 1710. They held witch trials here up until 1714. Well, guess what? This isn't an original building. This is a reconstruction. This is where the Congress of Virginia decided to have their independence and decided to send their delegates to the Continental Congress in Philadelphia. This is where it all started, the most powerful colony seat in the 1700s, okay? Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. It is so dark here. We're probably in the scariest building in Colonial Williamsburg, or the second scariest, and we can't see anything, and it's pouring rain. This is the jail. This is the Williamsburg jail, and this was the jail for the whole Virginia colony. This is where all the important people would be brought, and they filmed John Adams, the Boston Massacre part with the soldiers. They filmed it right there in the pen, okay? So this is the jail. This is where Blackbeard's crew was brought after they killed Blackbeard in North Carolina. This is an important place, but this is also a reconstruction, because everything's a reconstruction, because we live in a society of erased history.